Hello, all sentient beings, and welcome to the Transmissions Podcast, where we talk all Hasbro, Takara, and third-party Transformers! On this episode of Transmissions, we've got news about a new Legends-scaled Arcee from Dr. Wu, an upgrade kit for Studio Series Sludge, and is it time for some Transformers-branded watches? Today is Wednesday, June 1st, 2022, and this is episode 488 of Transmissions.
Welcome to Transmissions, the podcast that would gladly give up having Transformers come with guns if it meant we never had to see another mass shooting ever again. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I do listen to the podcast when I'm not on for the last 2 weeks, Jeremy and Daryl. And I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team, Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hello there.
The triumphant return of Apollo, aka Robo Apollo.
I'm back.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
I don't know what you're talking about, Charles. I thought we did a very good job, and it was definitely adequate.
It was a podcast.
It definitely counted as a podcast. Yeah. Let's talk Transformers.
And you definitely didn't blame me for everything that went wrong just because I wasn't there.
Well, okay, so we forgot to notify Donatreons about the recording. We
at a contest without me there.
Okay, well, yeah, but ignore that. Then we forgot to make some posts on Twitter and stuff, and all of that stuff you do.
Yeah, well, we figured you wouldn't want you'd want to like Charles up the contest or something. So we wanted to have this impromptu contest where we were getting in and getting out real quick, and we could do it our way without you administrating it.
Mike almost ruined it by trying to win.
That's right.
But, it's fine. It's fine.
Anyway, I was only gone for 2 weeks, but Apollo, you were gone for a little while, but it's great to have you back.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to be back. I had just a lot going on, and you guys know the details, and I'm in a really good place, and I'm glad to be back and talking Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And we are definitely glad to have you back.
You're undergoing the headmaster procedure, right? You're becoming a headmaster?
Hopefully. We'll see. Change on or whatever.
Change is good.
Or head on. Yeah, that's what they shout out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as always, we start off the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you all so much for continuing to help us out and help keep the show going. And another thing you guys missed, there was a new Donatreon while I was out. You guys didn't mention him. I'm sure he's a little bit concerned as to why no one mentioned because he signed up over 2 weeks ago and didn't get a mention on the podcast.
Apologize. Charles didn't put that in the doc.
Yeah.
So.
I thought I heard about it. I thought I heard, but he wanted his name read by Charles. He wanted the low dulcet tones of Charles to read his name out.
Everything is so much better when Charles reads it.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, Chris. Thank you for signing up. We really appreciate your support. We hope you are enjoying the perks, including all the bonus Empire of Rust episodes that are out. So if you haven't checked those out and haven't had a chance to get them, you should already have access to them after you're on the Patreon. So take a look. And if you haven't checked out Empire of Rust, I definitely encourage you to do that because that's an awesome Transformers live play RPG podcast run by our awesome editor and producer, Mike. And the uncut version of Empire of Rust episode 77, The Spark Awakens Part 2. And this is available right now. It's exclusive to Donatrons. It just came out on Monday, May 30th on Memorial Day. So you should already have access as you're listening to this. Also, if you are just a regular Empire of Rust listener, we've got a special treat for you this week because we are putting out our Transmissions Empire of Rust bonus collaboration event. We ran those episodes last fall, and now after 6 months, their exclusivity deal has expired. So we were putting them out on the free feed. So we're up to part 4 of the Transmissions Empire of Rust collaboration, and this episode is To Kill a Shrikebat, and that is the one where myself and Yoshi and a couple of the Empire of Rust guys did a side adventure that was kind of parallel to the main story. So not tying into the main story directly, but it is in the same universe. So there will be, some slight event crossovers at some point in the future. So enjoy if you haven't got a chance to listen to that. And that's at transmissionspodcast.com/rust. And of course, at the end of the month, so this is being recorded on the May 29th, but it's going up on June 1st, I guess. But we're going to do the Toyhax drawing for May of 2022. So we're going to draw a $10 gift code from our friends at Toyhax.com who have been supporting this contest for a long time, over 2 years now.
They have a great set for that Laser Optimus Prime that they just released. That looks amazing.
Yeah. So we're going to pick a winner. We've got all our donatrons who were automatically entered into the contest, and we're going to see who wins. And Chris, you just signed up, so you're already entered in the contest. So good luck. Okay, Jeremy, is your assistant ready?
We'll see, because I just plugged it in while you were doing the Empire of Rust stuff. It went off during a meeting. Just started playing some music for some reason during a meeting. So I just ripped the cords out. So let's see. Computer, are you ready?
Nope.
No.
I'm ready when you are.
Oh shit! There she is.
Okay. All right.
Hold on to your butts. Can you give us a random number between 1 and 83?
All right. Well, this is where the fun begins. Computer, give me a random number between 1 and 83.
Here's a number between 1 and 83. It's 76.
76. And that is Levi.
Awesome.
Goes by Cavitas on the Discord.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Levi's been on a tear lately. I think this is the third time Levi's won in 5 weeks. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So that's impressive. I don't know if Levi has got a line in on your Alexa there, Jeremy, but yeah. Wow, this is part of the way it works. But if you're part of the Donatreons and part of the contest is that you get drawn and then you are able to go right back in for the next drawing. That's part of the rules we established right at the beginning. So just
our late friend Kevin Horn did,
he did very similarly. Yeah, he went on a tear as well. Yeah. So
and then he won at a giveaway we were doing at TFCon, in person.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's impressive. Yeah. Well done, Levi. The last time he won, I didn't even contact him about, I just sent off his info to Toyhax to get his gift code and then just sent it to him again. So, so there you go. Well done, Levi. You're racking up quite the score here.
Congratulations. All right. Well, let's get into our toy talk.
All right. And first up this week, I'm going to talk about a couple of things. The first ones should be real quick. Wanted to talk about an upgrade kit coming from a company called Matrix Workshop. This is their kit M-76, and it's an upgrade kit for Studio Series 86 Dinobot Sludge. And we saw this kit coming a mile away. And I believe even Jeremy saw this kit coming, which is I mean, if Jeremy can pick out this kit, then it's an obvious one.
Exactly. Yeah.
But this is a kit for Dinobot Sludge that gives him a sword, obvious, a gun, again obvious, a missile, which whatever. But the main reason you are going to get this kit is because it gives him the googly eyes that you see in the 86 movie when Devastator punches him in the back and his eyes pop out of his head. That is the only reason anyone is going to buy this kit, because it's ridiculous. And yeah, sure, it gives him a gun and a sword, but it gives him the stupid Looney Tunes eyes, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And you know what? I have the Sludge pre-ordered and I want this kit. It's so stupid. I want it though. Jeremy, you saw this kit coming. You've been buying the Dinobots. Are you going to get this kit?
I don't know. I mean, do we have a price on it?
I don't think so. It's not going to be expensive.
If it's under $15, I might as well get it. I mean, the sword looks good. The gun looks good. The eyes, I don't know if I would display them with that.
There's a few pictures if you click through them.
Yeah.
This has come to us via Dime Chalk's Facebook page. So if you click through the Facebook images, you do see a picture of the googly eyes on the Sludge figure, and doesn't.
The base of the googly eyes don't fit very well.
They got to figure out a way to put them on there, and it's not 100% secure looking, but they're on there.
Yeah, I mean, if they could have figured out a way to like not have the gap there, it would be a little bit easier of a sell. But it's clearly just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. The selling point for me would not be the eyes; it would be the gun and the sword.
Mm.
The swords especially. I mean, the Dinobots need their swords, and this one looks great.
Yeah, Apollo. Did you ever end up picking up the Studio Series Dinobots, the Grimlock and the Slag?
I have some of them, but and I'm slowly still collecting Studio Series A6 for my shelf. So I am working towards this. I'm with Jeremy on this. It depends on what the price is for this upgrade kit. Like, I love it. It's silly. I think this is like a reason why these kits need to exist, is to do things like this. It's something that, like a funny fan moment, from the movie. And, I think that's great. Like, so I guess depending on what the price is, I would get it.
Right on. And Charles, this has become an iconic moment in the 86 movie. Surely this would be something you would pick up.
I gotta say, I guess I'm the odd man out. I'm not a fan of the googly eyes. I mean, it's fine in the movie. It's a little wild take moment. I mean, I just think some animation things don't really translate well when you try to put them into like 3-dimensional space and real figures. And this, I don't know, it just doesn't look good to me. And it's fine on the movie screen in 2D, but I don't think this was ever meant to become a real physical object. So it's kind of, it just looks off to me. I mean, I remember when wasn't there a third party company that made a sludge that had the googly eyes as an attachment?
Yeah, I think all of them have.
And oh, okay. But it never looked good to me. I don't know. So yeah, it's not for me.
All right. Well, it's going to be out there, and I highly doubt this is the only upgrade kit that's going to be produced for that Sludge that's going to offer these googly eyes, because it's one of those things that Sludge just seems to be attached to now. So you got a movie Sludge, and in the movie he's known for having googly eyes. So yeah. Look for these things to start popping up from different places. The main thing that I wanted to talk about this week is there's possibly a new figure coming out, and I certainly expect this one to be in the Selects line. Although they're referring to it as Legacy, but Legacy gets the Selects stuff, doesn't it? I think they do Legacy Selects. I don't know, but whatever.
I think Selects can be from any line.
Right. So they have,
I think isn't it Generation Selects, because Generations is kind of the overarching line that covers all of these.
Yeah.
Because Legacy and War for Cybertron are all part of the Generations line. It's in terms of, these are the lines that are for all the adults who remember the 80s.
Right. Well, they've shown, we've got pictures here of a remold of I believe is it Legacy? Which one did Kickback? It is Legacy Kickback, yeah. So Legacy Kickback, I haven't gotten Kickback yet, so I don't know which line it's from, but I guess it is Legacy. So they've redesigned portions of Kickback and molded it, or remolded it, recolored it, and turned it into Ransack, which you'll remember was one of the deluxe Insecticons from G1. So there has not been many of these figures or this character produced over the years. So Ransack is another Insecticon. And he's got an interesting G1 toy. I've got it, and it looks good, but it's a weird transformation. This use of kickback, though, I think really works for him. He, it definitely has a Ransack look to him. The colors definitely help. The way they've done the wings on him, I think help a lot too. But he looks really good. I like what they've done with him. So this, you don't often see the Insecticons getting, remolded into other things. But if that old rule that Hasbro has with their figures, where if they start a team, they finish a team, we may get all the deluxe Insecticons here. And that would be really interesting because we, like I said, I don't think there's been many of them produced for a while. We got that, what was the maroon one? What's his name? I can't remember, but we got one in like the, those little
Chop Shop.
Yeah. We got one in, that, Legends class line, a while ago. But other than that, I don't think we've gotten any in a while. But yeah, Charles, what do you think of Ransack here?
This is really well done. I mean, this looks very much like the Deluxe Insecticon from back in the day. And it's really amazing how much they got out of that kickback mold and just, really repurposed that kickback mold to make it look very much like the G1 Ransack. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Hasbro, on doing a really nice remold and retool, whatever you want to call it. Remold, retool, repaint.
Yeah.
It's more than a repaint, but less than a remold, I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Looks good, though.
I know. Yeah. Jeremy, would you be up for a Deluxe Insecticon team?
I mean, I never had really any Insecticons. So with my tendency to buy Generation Selects, probably. I don't know. I haven't really been out looking for anything lately, so I haven't seen the kickback myself. So things like this tend to be easier for me to get because I just pre-order and forget about them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this looks really good. It is a bit much on the yellow, but if the original toy had that, then you can't fault it for that.
Yeah,
I think the wings look really good. The coloring on that translucent wings looks really good, and I like the changes to the head from kickback. I mean, it looks really good. I just never had any of the G1 Insecticons, deluxe or regular, so I don't have like this huge nostalgic attachment to them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always something good to have. I think at least one from the line.
Yeah, and Apollo, another creepy crawly coming from the Transformers line here. It looks potentially, because there's no confirmation coming from Hasbro yet. But if they're going to do more Insecticons, are you a fan of the creepy crawly robots, or are you just are you one to keep away because it's more of a commitment to buying all of them?
Well, even if I don't buy any of them, like I have an appreciation for there being toys coming out for characters that generally don't get toys.
Mm-hmm.
We're always seeing a new Optimus Prime or Bumblebee, and so I like that we're getting other characters represented in the toy lines. I really like the changes that they did to this from Kickback. That's I believe the Insecticon's name, and I love how he has on this one Ransack, if this is indeed him. I love how his eyes are on the side of his helmet and his little antennas are just sticking out at an angle, and just the visor, and I think it looks really nice. And yeah, there's a lot of yellow and a lot of orange with the clear plastic as part of his wings, but I think this is really cool, and I think this is a great way for them to like retool, an existing mold they have to make another character. So I'm excited to see stuff like this. And looking through the pictures, there's one where we're seeing that new, this one in comparison with the new Alita that's coming out from the this new series of toys, and so you can kind of compare like how he's going to look. And I think he's cool. Bring on the creepy crawlies.
that's a good point about the just give me more figures of characters that we don't usually see, and that's a very good point to make. So yeah, like I said, this I have the original G1 toy, and frankly, I'm not sure if Ransack got a figure in like an obscure Beast Wars line or any kind of like Armada or Unicron trilogy stuff, but I know that I don't think he's gotten one for a very long time. So if ever, so and I really don't have the wiki up or anything like that to find out. I should look since I'm talking about my ass here. G1, and that's it. So there you go. Yeah. So he's had a G1 toy, unless I'm only looking at G1 Rand. Yeah. So I think this was it. I think there was just G1. So that's very cool. That there
was looks like there was a G2 and a Minicon from Armada, but they're not related.
Oh, okay. So yeah, this is very cool. I'm very interested in this, especially if they're going to do the rest of the Deluxe Insecticon. That's very cool. A team that has not gotten any love whatsoever. So yeah, I'm into that very much. But that's it. That's all I had to talk about this week. Jeremy, what do you got?
Well, first thing I have is just a little thing, literally. We talked about it a few months ago, Micro Machines doing some Transformer figures, and I think we were all shocked that Micro Machines was still a thing. But they're now showing up on store shelves. So these looks like there's 3 different, or no, maybe more, but they're assortments of 4 figures in their vehicles from the 2007 live action movie. And they come on with a display stand that has a backdrop of something from the movie, like a city scene or something. So, actually it's not even just the 2007 movie. There's some from Revenge of the Fallen. So it looks like they're just going through various live action movies. So we have, like the first set here has, looks like Jazz, Bumblebee, Brawl, and Megatron. The Revenge of the Fallen has Elita 1, Arcee, Megatron, and Bumblebee. And there's another 07 4-pack that has Ratchet, Starscream, Blackout, and Optimus Prime. And it looks like they're all around $10.50 US. So not that expensive, although Micro Machines are tiny. But I thought this would be kind of interesting to just talk about. I mean, non-transforming, but they're in vehicle mode. But it's easy to display if you like the vehicle modes from the movie, and they might be in scale for some of the sets like Omega Supreme and stuff. I don't know. I mean, wouldn't be the same line, but anyway, Daryl, did you have Micro Machines as a kid? And what do you think of these?
I did have Micro Machines. I really enjoyed them when I was a kid. And I used to play this old NES game for my Micro Machines, and I used to like that. There was a level where you drove around on a pool table, and I really enjoyed that. But as far as these go, I think they're neat. They remind me a lot of the Jada Toys stuff. They're just dinky cars. They're just Micro Machines. They don't do anything. I appreciate the alt modes, and I think the best ones I can see out of all of this are the RC bikes. Is it one's RC and one's Elita? I can't see the names on them. One's definitely RC, and I think the other one is Elita 1. But they probably have the most detail out of all of them. I look at the Bumblebees, because 2 of the 3 packs have Bumblebees in them. And they look okay, but like the paint jobs on I'm going to call him Brawl, but I think he was Devastator in that movie.
That was
he looks really bad. Like his paint job is really bland. The Megatron looks okay, but I mean, in that first movie, you barely saw him in that alt mode, right? The Jazz looks kind of cool. Optimus, he looks okay. But I don't know, just they're small. I get it. You can't do a lot of detail in the paint, but I don't know. I just for Transformers, their alt modes are like the secondary things for me. It's like,
right.
First they're a robot, then they're a car or a plane, or they're in alt mode, and the third thing is a puzzle, right? If you can't do the robot, then you do the car. But if you can't do the robot, then why are you calling them Transformers? They're just doing licensed vehicles at this point, or these weird space ones. I like Micro Machines. I think they're fun. But I just have no connection to these Transformer ones.
That's fair. Apollo, you have any thoughts on these figures? Or these cars?
I always like seeing like more Transformers, even if if it's not a transforming robot. I know that there's controversy in this fandom on what is considered a transformer, or if it can, convert from one mode to the other, and that whole puzzle aspect makes them fun. But as someone who generally like collects a specific character, cough, Starscream, cough. I like seeing different things, these different collaborations with different companies. So I like these. If I see this, I might pick it up when I'm at the store. I wouldn't go out of my way to get this, but if I happen to be in the toy aisle at the store and I see this, I'll probably pick it up.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I might get one set just to have, and if nothing else, it would look nice on a shelf with a backdrop. Charles, what about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. These are not really exciting me all that much. It's the Micro Machines are cool, they're cute, but yeah, I mean, I'm past the stage where I'm driving my little toy cars around, so there's not much I can do with these. So, and my kids are all past that stage too, so they probably won't be interested either.
Yeah. All right. Well, I do have another little thing to talk about, and I think this is what excited me more when I was seeing the topics this week. Dr. Wu has posted up pictures of their new, or of a prototype of their new MS-30 Amie, which is their version of a Legends-scaled Arcee. This is a 10 centimeter tall figure, and the articulation, I think, is just amazing on this. I mean, they have done, Dr. Wu has done a lot of work on these smaller figures, and this one I think is probably one of the best. She has like the what they did for her elbow joints is just something I've never seen, and I think it works really well. At times it looks like it looks a little bit weird because it's so small. A larger figure would be able to hide a lot of the joints and stuff, but just the range of motion that having the way they did the elbows and to a lesser extent the knees, I think is just crazy. But the colors on this look great. She can pose in varied poses, and then the vehicle mode, which has always been Arcee's like the problem with Arcee toys, has been the vehicle mode without making it a shell former. Her car folds up into a backpack, but it looks really good in robot mode and vehicle mode. It just is a great looking Legend scale car. And then they announced they kind of teased a Nightbird repaint with CG renders of a black version of the car and then weapons that would go along with Nightbird. So I am really, really impressed with this. I think Dr. Wu has been doing some great work. Like I have some of the like extremely small figures that Dr. Wu's done. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. Apollo, what are your thoughts on this Arcee?
I'm really impressed with this Arcee. It seems like there's always a struggle to get something right with her, and with toys that represent her. With like the backpack or just like proportions and things like that. I really like this a lot. I don't know what the price point on this is, but I'm definitely going to be keeping a close eye on this version of her because, right now I think I have the Kingdom Arcee that's in that scale size, and I really want to replace it with a different one. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on this one. for sure.
Cool. And yeah, Daryl just found the pre-order link on Big Bad Toy Store. It's about $45.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, that's not bad, especially for a figure disposable. Daryl, what are your thoughts on this?
Oh, I think it really looks good. The height, you said 10 centimeters, but I wanted to help you out because I know you don't know what 10 centimeters is. It's I
have no idea.
Just under 4 inches. So you can, it's a good height. It's way taller than those little figures that you had gotten from Dr. Wu before. So it looks like they are venturing into that ever popular legend scale market, which they've kind of tested with before, but it seems like they're really jumping, with both feet right now. This Arcee looks phenomenal. And you mentioned it with the alt mode. An Arcee, an animation accurate Arcee, her alt mode has been the Achilles heel. They cannot get it right. And this one looks really good. The only thing, and if you're going to nitpick, it's that it's got a lot of joints on it, a lot of visual joints. Well, it's got to have joints because of what it does for robot mode. That, like you said, that entire car, the outer car, disappears into a backpack, which is insane. I'm very impressed with this. Yeah, at the size scale this thing is, 4 inches. They do some really insane stuff at that size in this size scale. I'm very impressed with what they've got done here. And this is not CGI. This is or CG render. We're looking at a prototype here that they've got. And it's probably ready to sell. It looks very good. The paint looks fantastic. And I think it looks real nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing one of these as well.
Yeah, and I should have mentioned this is designed by Mechanic Toy and produced by Dr. Wu. So,
cool.
I'm not that familiar with Mechanic Toy, but I do remember their name here and there. So apparently they're doing some really ingenious work here. Charles, you are. We know how big of a fan of Arcee you are, and you need one to go with your Unicron, I'm sure. So what are your thoughts on this?
This does look really good. And the backpack is really well done. It looks like the car mode nicely turns out really nice. And I am a fan of the Legends class size figures. It looks like it's all come together here. I mean, my only really minor complaint for this Arcee is that her arms and legs are a little thin.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's not a big deal. It's a really well done Arcee, and for the Legends class figure, that's a pretty great engineering feat. I probably am going to pass on this figure just because I know it's reasonable for the price is reasonable for the what you get for this figure, but I don't know. Maybe if I saw it at TFCon and had an impulse buy, but I'm not seeking this out online probably.
Yeah, I can see that. And I think like the arms and really any of the issues that we're finding with this are probably due to it compromises they had to make because of the small size.
Yeah.
I would love to see a deluxe version of this engineering with, what they would be able to do to hide a lot of those defects. And, it would just be so cool. But that is all I got this week. Apollo, what do you have?
All right. Well, I have a few things to talk about this week. The first I have are some more Transformers Legacy Deluxe Knockout in hand images. And this is a new version of the Transformers Prime Knockout for Legacy line. So, there are some differences to his design than from Transformers Prime. One of the things is like they didn't have noses in Transformers Prime, whereas in the Legacy line, both him and the Arcee toy have a nose. This mold that this toy is based off of is the one that was used for the Studio Series Jazz. So looking through these images, there's one of him just doing some dynamic pose with his weapon, which is believe a Triton. And then there's him standing next to Jazz, so there's really no height difference there. There's another one of him standing next to the Transformers Prime toy, and he's a little shorter than that one. And there are some other differences, but I think it's a much needed upgrade. His vehicle mode looks fabulous as well, like especially comparing it to the Transformers Prime version. When I think of Knockout, like there's that episode Transformers Prime where he's racing with all those other cars. Like this is in his vehicle mode what I am thinking of. I'm really excited for this. I pre-ordered it as soon as it was announced. So personally, I'm all in on Knockout. Charles, what do you think of this?
I think it looks good. Yeah, it's a good kind of reimagining of Knockout. I mean, definitely when you see the Transformers Prime figure side by side with this Knockout, you can see at least from the body, it looks very much improved. I do think. I mean, I think it's kind of weird that they're like for the Legacy line, they're giving all the Prime characters noses. Like, just leave their faces the way they were in Prime. I mean, everyone doesn't have to have a nose. I don't know. It seems like if you're going for nostalgia, I mean, why do all the Legacy figures have to conform to like a certain aesthetic? Maybe you can have each universe that each character is coming from, have them adhere to their own aesthetic, from that universe. I don't know. I mean, it's a really minor nitpick, but it's a good figure. It looks really good. If you're a fan of Knockout, I think this is not a worthy Knockout successor. So it's a good figure. I hope they'll have a breakdown too to go with it.
Oh, that would be cool. I hope so too. Yeah, I don't know why they gave him a nose. Like I know in the comic, in the Wreckers comic, they gave him a nose in that. So maybe they did that to match that comic.
Yeah, well, the vehicle mode is also the same as the comic.
Yeah, I think the comic artists got this design as a mandate to include in the comic. I think it's probably the other way around, that the toy was designed first and then they told the comic artist to make it look like the toy.
Yeah. I think it was Jack Lawrence, right, who drew the interiors for that. Yeah, I'm not sure why they're giving them noses. Like, and as you said, it is like a minor thing, but it might matter to some people. But I really think, especially if you don't have the Prime version of the toy, this would be a good one to get. And those Transformer Prime toys, like I have some of them. They're not, I mean, they were good for their time, but they're not, toy technology's evolved a lot since then. So, and progressed. So, they're little relics of history and toy design. Jeremy, what do you think of this Knockout?
I think he looks really good. I did not realize that he was based off of the Jazz figure, and they did a good job changing it, making it almost unrecognizable from the Jazz, like just having so many more straight lines rather than the curves, and removing the spoiler did a lot. But then also looking at the robot mode between him and the Prime version, I'm like, that Prime version, I thought it was better than that. I guess the years between Prime and now, we're spoiled on so many other, good engineering choices, and that like midsection of that Prime figure just does not look good to me. So I really like the new design. I'm not as picky about the car looking the way it does, and the nose. It doesn't bother me at all. I think this looks good, and Knockout is just one of those characters that is. He's such a good character that, this is one I will look for on the shelves.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts on it. Yeah, I'm glad everyone's excited about this. And Daryl, what are your thoughts?
I used to have the original Knockout toy, and sold it a while ago. And I actually I liked the original toys alt mode. I thought that one was probably much closer to the Transformers Prime design. the robot mode was atrocious. The way that it transformed was just a mess. But you know, the new look, the way that they've G1ified Knockout, is kind of in line with what they're doing with Legacy. And you know, the way that they've done it here, I have no problem with. I kind of like the way that Knockout looks. It's not going to fit into the collection I have going on right now. I'm really only buying, you know, G1 toys, you know, within the main line, but or G1 characters within the main line. I do like the way that it looks, though. I like Knockout as a character. He was always a fun one on screen in the show. I really enjoyed the Transformers Prime toys when they came out, and I thought it was a really great line. Sure, they had some problems. The Beast Hunter stuff was kind of a mess, but I do like the way that this thing looks in both modes, and the fact that they used the Jazz figure, Studio Series Jazz, is as a base is probably a really good decision, because it's a great looking alt mode. I'm probably not getting it just based on the fact that it doesn't fit into my collecting that I'm doing right now, but I think that it's a good looking toy though. So if anyone out there is looking to get it, I have no problems with that. You know, it's collect what you want, and it looks very cool. So yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for your thoughts on that. And it's great to appreciate all these Transformer toys coming out, even if we can't buy them all. I think it would be really hard to buy them all anyways. So it's nice to appreciate them as well.
I do have a problem with the size of the weapon, though. That weapon is huge. I get it. It's just, isn't that just a little big? Doesn't it seem a little big? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being picky, but it's just, it seems way too big. Oh, it does split into two though, so that's, maybe it's meant for two different things. Maybe they're doing a combining weapon thing again. We don't know about.
Yeah,
I think we already kind of knew that these Energon weapons were going to do something, and some of the other figures we do know will combine.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you for your thoughts on that. I have another thing to talk about. It's the Transformers Legacy Deluxe Elita 1 in-hand images, and we also were shared some sketches from the toy designer on this, our friend Mark from Hasbro. And so we're going to talk about this toy next. So I'm looking at these in-hand images of this Legacy Elita 1. And the thing that I noticed immediately, which I believe everyone probably did, is the backpack or lack of it. Like, this is one of the first times, like, I've seen, from what I can remember, like a female Transformer who doesn't have like this huge backpack on her back. Like, they were able to incorporate the alt mode into her shoulders really well on this. The alt mode itself, the car seems kind of short. And they do have some comparison images with both the robot mode with the Earthrise Lita 1, and then the RC that came out in the previous line, and you can see right away that the backpacks are like huge on those characters in comparison to this one. There's one of her with an Optimus Prime figure from the previous line as well. The car looks kind of stumpy, but from what I remember in the cartoon of G1, it was like that anyways. So I think they were trying to make the vehicle G1 accurate. 'Cause, I mean, it even has like her little headpiece as part of her helm on the top of that car. And I know there were a lot of jokes going around on Twitter about that when that was released, but that was actually in G1. So I immediately pre-ordered this one as well. I do collect the fembots, and so I'm really excited to add this to my collection. I'm also looking at right now the design sketches that were provided by Mark Maher on Instagram, and he's the designer, the toy designer at Hasbro, one of them. And I love seeing this behind the scenes stuff for like anything, like for, you know, how something is made. And I just think this is so cool. You can see the different sketches he has here, the 3D model. in the face sculpt, and you can see that he was looking at G1 screenshot for reference on this. So I think this is a really good G1 accurate Alita figure. And as I said, I like pre-ordered this immediately when it came out. So Jeremy, what are your thoughts on this Alita 1 figure and the sketches that Mark provided?
Yeah, I really like it. I'm not the biggest Alita 1 fan in terms of toys, just because she hasn't really had a lot of good toys. But I think this is probably the best one we've ever had for her. And the colors are really great. And like you said, the what they do with the vehicle mode, so there's not a huge backpack, has been, that's great. I'm glad that they're making progress on that. So I'm still on the fence on whether I want to pick her up, but I think she looks really good. And yeah, I love that Mark has posted these behind the scenes things, and you can kind of see more of what went into the designs. Like there's a couple different robot modes here, so you can see where they were working on, like how they wanted some of the back pieces of the car to go. So this looks really impressive.
Thank you for your thoughts on this toy. Charles, what are your thoughts on Alita? Are you going to add her to your collection?
I think so, but I am kind of torn because I really don't like the vehicle mode. I mean, I do see what they were going for. I posted a picture from the TF Wiki in the chat. Like there's very little of her vehicle mode shown from G1, so it's a very, the image it's cut off, so you don't really get a good shot of her vehicle mode. So it was left to their imagination, and I don't know. It's just the kind of it looks like a junker. I don't know. It's like I compare it to like we get the sketches, like the vehicle mode in the sketch I thought looks really sleek, and like what came out in the physical product, the end product, doesn't match the sketch there. But I do appreciate, like, something I've been really wanting is more female character models that are, not just remolds of a single body type. So doing a different molds of, for more female characters, I think is important. And I do think I think this is, she looks really good as a robot. I think her transformation looks good, but that car, I don't know. It looks junky. I don't know why. It just doesn't appeal to me. But I think I'm still going to pick it up because I want Hasbro to see that there's a market for more female characters and more, and doing different designs and different characters. So I want to encourage that, even if I don't like this particular vehicle mode here.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. Yeah, the vehicle mode is, there's more to be desired on that. Like, I think for me, it's just like the different bands of color really throw it off, and like the red isn't matching. Like the front red doesn't match the back. Like I think if it was like the same shade of red, that would help a lot. But like those bands of color are not, that for me, that's not good. But like I really think they're heading in the right direction with the robot mode, as you were saying. It's really good that we're getting, different molds made for the female Transformer characters, instead of it being like the same mold, or like that they model the robot and then put the alt mode on her back, so she's like a turtle or something, so so
because I bought the I guess the Earthrise or Netflix Alita 1 from War for Cybertron because I really liked Alita 1 in War for Cybertron, and I wanted that character. But it's just an Arcee remold, and she basically just folds up into the inside the Arcee body, vehicle. So it's disappointing. And the last thing for this mode, I mean, I know that he was, he wanted to reference the G1 the G1 animation, but the hat on the vehicle mode just looks silly. it's still, I mean, I don't know. It everything doesn't have to be G1.
Yeah.
Some G1 things were really silly, and we don't need to recreate them 40 years later.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your perspectives on this toy. I'm excited that you're planning on getting this. So, yeah, and then
Yeah.
So Daryl, what are your thoughts on Alita 1? Are you going to be adding her to your G1 collection?
Oh, calling out my G1 collection right off the hop. So this one's tough because I have a lot of the same feelings that Charles has. I love the fact that Alita is her own figure now. I think it's very important. And I think that we do need to show Hasbro that we want to continue this trend by buying them all up, and showing that, they can't keep Alita on the shelf. So they need to, do more stuff like this, and bring out Greenlight and bring out, all the other ones and give them all their own figures. But, Hasbro doesn't do that stuff. They'll reissue them in they'll reissue Arcee and Alita in different colors, and they'll, that'll be what we'll have to deal with. On the opposite side of the coin, I hate this alt mode. I look at it and all I see is a clown car. Because the color palette, and you've touched on it there, the color palette it's just terrible. It's off. It looks like, my daughter got a gift when she was very young. It was like a Minnie Mouse car, with a whole bunch of junk in it that she could play like Tea Party with and stuff. And all I see is this Minnie Mouse car with this Alita 1 thing. It looks obscenely girly. And sure, yeah, okay, Alita's a female character, but she, in the comic representation and in the cartoon representation, she was not a damsel in distress by any stretch of the imagination. She was a kick-ass character. And I see this thing and I hear like the circus noises for like the clown, right? That's all I hear in my head when I look at this alt mode. The hat on the roof, like Charles said, is absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, I see the screenshot, and I don't know what you do with that. The same screenshot, like, it also shows the front of her car coming to a bit of a point, which this doesn't do. So you go with one aspect of the screenshot, but you don't go with the other. I get it. This is a tough one to do. They've done some really good things with the, like you mentioned, with the backpack by getting it much smaller than it used to be. And she's not folded up underneath the car mode, right? Like, there's some really big steps forward with Alita here, because her robot mode looks like an actual robot mode and not just, a female character stuffed underneath a car, right? So yeah, there's a lot of pluses and there's a bunch of minuses here too. And there's a lot of talk. I mean, DJ Ronin's been talking about it since we first heard about it, that, this is going to be recolored into what is it? What did he say it was? Minerva. That's right. Brought up the idea and then forgot about it. As soon as I started speaking about it, I forgot it. But yeah, so he's pretty sure that this is going to be a Minerva. So whatever. Maybe that one will look better. Maybe it won't look as much like a clown car. And I don't think Minerva's got the hat on top either, so it'll be a light bar, right? But yeah, so I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm not going to buy this because, yeah, sure, technically it's in G1, but this one's a tough one for me. It doesn't look good. But the robot mode does, right? The robot mode does look good. So it's if I see it on sale or something like that, I'll probably pick it up. If I don't, it'll probably pass.
Yeah. You also don't have to convert her to the robot or the vehicle mode too. Like, but I get it. Like, I do think the headlights too, like as you said, like in that screenshot, her vehicle mode's a lot longer. It's actually more like the War for Cybertron one.
Yeah.
Like the proportions, So, it'd be really
interesting. Makes me
interesting.
think of Arcee.
Mm-hmm.
mean, could also be them trying to G1ify, right? Like they've done with Knockout and Bulkhead, and G1ify, Alita 1. So maybe this is her G1 mode. Okay, all right, well, sure.
Yeah, you'll have to find
the colors still suck.
Yeah, you might have to find that Minnie Mouse car, and we can compare pictures between that and her vehicle mode. Maybe that's
God, do we still
they
have
got
it?
inspiration from.
Thing is so pink. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. You'll have to let us know when the time comes and this toy comes out what you decide to do. Because it sounds like it's a coin toss at this point. But that's all I have to talk about this week. Charles, what do you have to talk about?
Okay, I got a couple of things here. So first, it's this is a collaboration with G-Shock. They're they've been making like these nostalgic watches, back to the 80s watches, collaboration with Transformers. And this is and these are being released in China. So we've got a bunch of they're releasing a bunch of these watches in and they all just have different aesthetics for different characters. So there's one that's red, white, and blue for Optimus Prime. There's one that's black and white and a little bit of red for Megatron, and then there was one that's all yellow for Bumblebee. And these are basically they're just digital watches. So it's it's not like the Time Warrior, that old school Time Warrior watch that actually did transform into a robot. Sadly, it's not that. It's just a regular watch with with the different color schemes of the different characters. And then on the back of the watch, there's a in metal, in the metal plate on the back of the watch, the character's face is there. And so it's a little bit of merchandising, and it comes with this this like Cybertron case. It looks like the planet Cybertron that you put the watch inside. So it's an interesting curiosity. Not something I would actually recommend buying, but it's I guess just something fun, I guess, for to if you're looking for a digital. I don't know why you're in 2022. I don't know what the market is for like regular digital Casio digital watches. A lot of people are more into smart watches now, but if you're interested, you can check these out. Apollo, what do you think of these watches here?
Well, I'm kind of with you on like what the actual functional purpose is for them. I mean, I know there are people who choose to get flip phones now, so they're not on a smartphone all the time. So maybe they're catering to that crowd of people that are doing that. But I think the designs are pretty busy on them. Like I want to like the Optimus Prime one, but it's so busy looking at it. Like it'd be too hard to tell the time because it has both the analog interface with like the arrows for telling time, and also the digital, and it also has the date at the top. The Megatron and the Bumblebees are actually more streamlined because it's just like a digital interface. I like the look of the Bumblebee one the best, actually, design wise. The color scheme and the patterns. My first question was, where's the Starscream watch? Because I actually might be tempted to buy one. But, but like, I think this is just, for me personally, I think this is for someone who's like a real fan of the character. This is more of like a display piece to me, especially because it comes with that Cybertron case for it. I feel like this is like a collector's display piece. Like if you had your Optimus Prime collection, you can be like, and here's my Optimus Prime watch, on display here and in its little Cybertron. But and what were you saying? The price is like what, $230 on these each?
I mean it's not confirmed, but the rumor is $208.
Okay.
So That's a bit spicy for just a digital watch.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't like a smartwatch or anything. I think that this is like, if this was like a smartwatch, like if they did a collab with like Apple or something, I'd be down for this. But
Yeah,
I do think this is a display piece for collectors. So it's not my cup of tea. Or my way of telling time, but with a watch like this. But if someone has a nice collection and they want to add like a watch to it, go for it. As I was saying earlier, I just like seeing these different collaborations with different brands, to bring Transformers across, a wider audience of people. So I do like on the back of the watch, they have this like etched face of like Megatron and Optimus and Bumblebee. I think that's really cool. So
yeah.
So it's not for me, but if they had a Starscream one, maybe I would buy it for a display piece, maybe. But I don't know for $200. Like it looks like it's something that should be like maybe $100. Just looking at it.
I mean, I wouldn't even go that far. I mean, I don't know how much it costs to do the etching on the back. I mean, it seems to me that's where maybe some of the expense comes in. But I mean, it's just a digital watch. Like you can get those at Target for $20. It's not like, but these are
I've been looking
super fancy.
I've been looking on the Casio site for their comparable designs, and like the Megatron one, the closest I could find was around $80. The Bumblebee one was around $130. So, apparently watches are expensive if you want them to last and don't want them to be cheap. Okay. And then licensing and the etching is probably the rest of that cost.
Yeah.
Don't forget the case.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the big planet Cybertron too. Yeah.
Those aren't free.
That's where all the overhead cost is the Cybertron case.
Right.
Well, Jeremy, what do you think? Is this worth it?
So I know watch collecting is a big thing, and people that collect watches, they're in an expensive hobby. So I think this is designed for them more than us, because it's just, like you said, it's just a watch. But I could see a watch collector that is also a Transformers collector be like, this is perfect for my display. I might wear it every once in a while. Like if I go to TFCon, I'll wear my Transformers watch and stuff. But I don't know. I mean, like I have an Apple Watch. It's very expensive, but it does a ton of stuff. That Megatron watch looks like a watch that I would have had in elementary school in the 80s. Literally,
it's back to the 80s.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying, like you said, it looks like a $20 watch with the Transformers stuff added to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I agree with Apollo that Optimus one is so busy, and I saw the comparable one, like the non-branded Casio model that this is based off of. It's not nearly like it's exact same thing, like same mechanics, but it's not nearly as busy because of the colors and everything. It makes a lot more sense. Just what they're doing with the Optimus one, with the design of the arms, the colors, it doesn't work here. Whereas the regular one, it's a lot less busy, and it looks a lot better. I think if I were to pick one of the three, it probably would be the Megatron one, just because it is just so simple. You get the date, you get the time. What else do you need? But I wouldn't be paying. I probably wouldn't even pay $80 for that. It, like you said, it looks like a $20 watch, and I don't know. For me, I'll find a Transformers watch face for my Apple Watch and put that on. But the Cybertron thing is cool.
Yeah. I'd much rather have a Time Warrior watch. If someone, if they can re-release a Time Warrior watch, I would be all in for that.
Yeah,
I probably would not pay $200 for that, but I'd get it.
Yeah, if these transform, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah,
but you also do have that Marvel G1 art on there, Charles. Or at least that style. I mean,
I appreciate the style, and if you look at the promotional video, in the promotional video, they use Don Figueroa's art for all the characters too. So I appreciate them using the comic assets for the art there, but I don't appreciate it $208 enough.
Right.
Daryl, what do you think of these things? Do these push any nostalgia buttons for you?
I don't wear watches, but I have a cell phone that I keep in my pocket. But I can appreciate what Jeremy was saying, because I do know that there are people out there who collect watches, and I do know that people collect shoes, and if Transformers has done shoes, and they've also done, they do hats, and they do all kinds of stuff. So if you've got if you were into hats and Transformers, had a hat out, and I know they do, but you would buy that, right? Because it's two of your passions kind of crossing over. So you're into that stuff. These are cool. They're definitely not anything that I would buy, but they're a neat little curio. And, for people who do collect watches and that kind of stuff, this is definitely their thing. I do have a Time Warrior watch though. It just doesn't work.
For the Transforms, I'm sure
it does. Most places you can find like the face, because everybody took the face out to transform, but finding the band, that's the hard part. And I have one band. I've got like 5 faces of darkness. But it's I just have one band, and I cannot get one of those faces to work. So I'm working on it. I'm hoping to have one, but work for TFCon, but so I can have a watch to wear at TFCon, because it's, I never know what time those panels start.
I mean, this is telling me that there's a market for a Time Warrior re-release. So they should totally re-release that figure and market it as a market that as back to the 80s instead of these. Anyway, I'm done giving Hasbro free marketing advice. I do have one more item to talk about, and this goes back again to our longtime fan favorite artist Don Figueroa. He for a while he was doing back when he was working at Dreamwave and doing designs for the War Within series, where this was taking one of the early times that it was taking the original G1 characters back to what they might have looked like on Cybertron and getting really interesting new designs for them. And Hasbro then took those designs and turned them into figures in the Titanium line. But that line sadly was canceled before a lot of those figures were released. And Don has dug into his archive and pulled out some sketches of some of the designs he did for those figures and put them out on Twitter in his new Twitter account. I believe you guys talked about how Don Figueroa is up on Twitter now and just giving us a treasure trove of old designs and sketches that he worked on in the past.
Don's what?
And here he's on Twitter. Twitter, have you heard of it?
I'm surprised you know what it is. I'm trying to convince you to use Twitter, and you never want to get on there with me.
But I was the one who brought the news to the Discord. I was the one who posted in the Discord that Don's on Twitter. I got no credit for that. But that's okay.
I have no memory of that.
Well, that's okay, because everything is archived on Discord, so you can just scroll up in the chat and you'll see.
We purged a lot of the archive while you were away.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so Don has released some of his sketches, and it's really cool because in addition to just a character sketch, he shows like the model of how he designed the transformation for each figure. So we've got Arcee, we've got Shockwave, we've got Bumblebee, and it's really cool to see his design. I mean, Don Figueroa, like Alex Milne, is one of those artists who really designs things in 3 dimensions. And if he's making a Transformers character, he's going to make sure that the character has a plausible alt mode and could conceivably be really engineered. So he's kind of a third party company's dream, where they can just take comic design, like when they see his designs on the page of a comic book, they can just take it and engineer it into an actual figure. And so I mean, there's a long history of Don Figueroa working for, once he got into the comics, he was originally working in Dreamwave. Then he also made the transition onto IDW, and through that, through those relationships, was working with Hasbro's designers and everything. Later on, that relationship kind of soured a little bit. I mean, you can Google for the story of the drama behind that. But he's a great artist, and it's really cool to see some of these designs being shown again. And there are prototypes of these figures that were shown before that, since they were not released and they were canceled. But the TFW 2005 story links to those prototypes. It's cool to see the original designs. So Apollo, what do you think of these? I think maybe these were before your time. I don't know how familiar you are with some of the Dreamwave comic series and Don Figueroa's art, but what do you think of these?
Yeah, that was before my time. I mean, I have some of the Dreamwave comics that I've collected like over the years, but as I was saying earlier, I love seeing like this behind the scenes stuff, like this concept art. Like, I really like how detailed his artwork is with, how, like, for example, Arcee's arm would be put together. Like, that's just really cool. And this does, you touched on this. Reminds me a lot of what Alex Milne does when he does his character design work. It's like you could build a toy from it. So anytime we can see any sort of this, behind the scenes stuff, I love it. I love seeing how things work, how things are made. And this is just another example of that. So,
cool. Jeremy, what do you think of these figures?
I love these designs. I wasn't a huge fan of the titanium line. I think the ones I had were overly floppy because the die-cast metal just made them too heavy. But I love the design and the look of them. And these are cool, especially seeing how he worked out the transformations and just thinking about how to make it look great in both modes. And I really especially like that Bumblebee, with the Cybertronian alt mode. I just think that looks really cool. And the arm on that Arcee is very similar to that Dr. Wu, like the way that the elbow joints work and stuff. That was pretty cool to see that he was designing things back then when most mainline toys just had like a single joint for the elbow instead of a double. So these are really great. I love seeing all of Don's work like this. It's just been great to see on Twitter. Have you heard about Twitter? It's a really cool thing. It might be going away, who knows? But right now, it's pretty cool.
We've got like 4 or 5 months before
who knows
the muskening of Twitter. All right, Daryl, what do you think of these sketches? I guess you've probably already seen the originals since you're on Twitter so often.
Yeah. I'm pretty well versed. No, I love this stuff. This is, I mean, I feel the same way as Apollo. It's just getting the tour, in the background here is just phenomenal. And then, getting to see the prototypes that got made as well with the link in the show notes there, or in the article notes is these things got to prototype stage, the way Don's mind works is amazing. He's able to explode these designs out, these figures out, and say, no, this is exactly how you build this arm out. And I love that. I really can appreciate the genius of someone who's capable of doing that. Because there's not a lot of people that can do that, who can actually start from scratch, design something, and then say, no, this is how you now build it. And, this is a very talented person that can do stuff like this. So, I'm very, very impressed with Mr. Figueroa here. I'm always curious about stuff that gets to the prototype phase for a line, let's say titanium, and it gets canceled because titanium, it had some serious problems. It was a really bad concept right from the start, attaching, die cast ligaments or appendages to plastic joints. It was a terrible idea. Everything was, super
especially
floppy.
having the die cast on the top of the figure.
It was so stupid, right? And it didn't work, right? So they've got these designs and these prototypes for a line that's been canceled. Well, who's to say that they can't take them and put them into a different line, right? They used to do that with with Beast Wars and stuff like that, right? So they ended up these designs got pushed into the next line. Why couldn't they make these things out of plastic? This Arcee is cool looking, right? This Shockwave is a beast, and this Bumblebee, make it. It's awesome, right? I don't understand why they just okay, well, the line's canceled, scrap it all, right? Make it. Everything's done. It's ready to go, right? Is it the fact, and this is where my ignorance in toy design kind of comes to the forefront? Are the molds set for die cast only? Can they, do you have to then plan for everything to be done in plastic, cannot be done in die cast, right? Because if the prototypes are done, I assume those prototypes are in plastic. They look it, right? So something was done in plastic, and back in those days, 3D printing was very hard to come by. So I don't know how they would have done this. I assume
probably
they could
do the
still
old resin molds.
Yeah, that's true. So I don't know. I think I would love to have seen these things and made it into a different line. Maybe the aesthetic didn't fit, but I mean, where we're sitting right now, the aesthetic is almost right back there. This Arcee could have been put into even into the Siege line, right? Or into wouldn't have been Earthrise, but I don't know. Would have been one of the recent ones. It would have fit perfectly. The Bumblebee for sure could have fit into the Siege line, right? I would have loved to have seen these things make it into a line after the cancellation of Titanium.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's also these designs are now at this point almost 20 years old, so they were in archive somewhere. I think probably the current designers didn't have the institutional memory to say, let's pull out all these designs from it's just coincidence that Don Figueroa was digging these out of his archives.
Yeah, it would be great to see, like Daryl said, if the current Hasbro team could reach out to him and be like, hey, how about we see what we can do with modern engineering and your old designs? And I think that would be a cool Generation Selects thing, or HasLab. I mean, HasLab for a whole titanium line, just you pay, you get all of them, but they work. I think that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, and they could ditch the die cast gimmick, call them Dontanium instead, and just make them plastic and so that they're still solid toys. All right, well, that's all our toy talk for this week. I think we stuffed a lot this week, so we're gonna move on to trips to the store. This is where we show off all the cool Transformer stuff we got this week. We do this as a video so you can see everything we got in beautiful high definition. But we'll put the audio right here in the show so you can keep listening as we describe everything in loving detail. But let's do it. Trips to the store.
The Transmissions Podcast will return after these messages.
Now, before we jump into the stuff we got, we do have, we're on our YouTube channel. We are closing in on our 1,000 subscriber milestone. We're at 901 right now as we record this. So if you are watching this and you are not subscribed to the Transmissions YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button. Help us out and help us get to 1,000 subscribers. So we're very close. We're just 99 of you need to take the plunge and help us out.
I'd just appreciate it if the people who are subscribed to our channel watch our videos.
That too. Please watch. Please.
That would be nice. Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be really nice. Yeah.
We are planning more video stuff in the future. We have some stuff kind of in the works. Mm-hmm. And I think putting up audio podcasts on YouTube isn't the best reviews, but we have some great video stuff coming up.
I think so.
I wasn't talking about your thing, Daryl.
Oh.
It's talking about something else.
Let's do some great video stuff right now
Yeah.
and show off the stuff we got this week. So, Daryl, we're going to start with you.
First. Damn it. All right. Well, I'm going to show off some comics because I got new comics. This is Transformers 43. This is cover B by Thomas Deere. And this is the cover that I picked, and I got to buy the cover that I picked. So yeah, very cool. I really like this Thomas Deere cover. So yeah, I was very happy to be able to get that one. The next one up, this is Beast Wars number 16, cover A, and I don't remember who did this one. This is the one with Optimus Primal on it, and Tigertron and Cheetor, and yeah, they're all in here actually. Yeah, so there's Rhinox and Rat Trap. Yeah, do not remember who did, but yeah, it looks cool. Cover A. And then the last one I have here is Transformers War's End number 4, and this is cover A, and this is by Jack Lawrence. This is a really cool cover. I really did like this one. With Deathsaurus, not Deathsaurus, standing over a bunch of dead bodies, and I just thought this was a cool looking cover. So very happy to get. As far as my toy that I'm showing off this week, you know it. I told you about it last week, but I'm keeping my word, and this is the combined 4 Moon Studio figures. So I did it. It took me a while over the course of a couple days actually to do it. Not I didn't do it nonstop, obviously, but yeah, this thing is so heavy. Yeah, it's solid. It's really solid. I'm very impressed with how much work they've done with to put into keeping these figures connected. There are like tabs and stuff that you have to actually push in on the back of this guy to actually connect the top half to the torso. The legs, there are some insane joints in this thing. I'm going to show really quickly. I'm going to hopefully hold it with one hand. It's dangerous. Maybe I'll do it this. Because I brought out my MP44 Optimus Prime to try and show for
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
how big this guy is. He's insane how big.
So MP44 just comes up to the lower part of the waist.
Just below or just above the knee. Yeah. And I'm just going to try and do it here because to bend the knee is a huge joint. I love it. I love that noise.
Clicky goodness.
And like this doesn't hold it. It's a heavy leg. Right?
Wow.
Still, these legs
We're going to start an ASMR channel now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, you should do an ASMR channel for Transformer fans. Just have clicking joints.
Yeah. I mean, I got chills from that, like down my spine. Like that's impressive.
My arm is sore from holding this thing up right now. I'm also very weak, so
I imagine it weighs quite a bit, though. Like
it does. I'm.
Does it weigh more than your baby?
No, my baby's pretty pudgy, so he's yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm really super impressed with. I cannot wait to get the 2 arms. Yeah, it's so impressive. It's heavy. He's super articulated. He's got a waist joint, right? The head's on here, head turns. There's so much articulation in such a massive figure. And then he's 6 figures individually, which is insane. I'm over the moon happy with this guy. So, Radiatron for the win. I'm happy with my purchase.
And he's also a workout.
Oh yeah.
All right. Let's move on to Apollo.
All right. So I didn't get any new action figures or Transformer figures, but at the beginning of the month, I met up with friend of the show, Mike Seibert, who has his own podcast called Mike Seibert Radio. And he got me some things at TFCon LA because I wasn't able to go. So I'm going to show off that stuff. So the first thing is this Starscream bag. And this is all stuff from Artist Alley. I'm not sure who the artist was on this, but it is amazing and I love it. So there's that. The next thing that he got me was this is I know who this artist is. This is Plushy Sheep on Twitter. This is a mini wallet. So this is for like credit cards, photo ID, things like this. I had one of these and wore it out. And so when I saw she was selling these again, like I was really excited and Mike got this for me. I also collect her lanyards, and so I have a bunch of them, but this was the Soundwave lanyard that
That's cool.
so not sure if you can see this right, but like, it's got the cassettes, it says Soundwave, it's got all the little guys, Soundwave on there.
Mhm.
But I have all of her lanyards that she's released so far. And then he also got me like a bunch of stickers, and I'm not sure who the artist is for these, but there's Star Saber on there. Another Starscream. I think this is the same person who made the bag. Beast Wars,
Nice.
and then of course Starscream Coronation, and then Starscream again. So that's what I have to show today. So yeah.
That's so cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice surprise, because I was up in Seattle at the beginning of the month and met up with him, and he was like, "Oh, I got you stuff from TFCon," and I was really excited. So thank you, Mike.
That's awesome.
Awesome. All right, Jeremy, you're up next.
All right. Well, I had this last week and I completely forgot about it. So get to show off this week. This is the online exclusive version of Last Bot Standing, bought from IDW. Really cool cover. And I do have to say that IDW's packing has gone down. Like the quality has gone down because they used to pack it in a really nice quality bag and board. And this, it's got a backing board, if you can call it that, but it's so floppy. So, the comic is better than the packaging. And they threw in a Sonic the Hedgehog free comic book day book. And it's one from this year. So that was cool. And then what I was going to show off, first of all, we were talking about transforming watches. So I pulled this off the shelf. This is from 2007 and it is a transforming watch. The battery is dead in it, but it does pop out. And just like the old watches in the 80s, this thing can somewhat transform. So,
Nice.
I need to probably put a new battery in it just to have it on display, but it's not something I would ever wear, even if it was like to a convention or something. One, I think it's too small. I think it's made for kids, but two, it's just so easy to just pop out and lose. So it stays on my shelf. And then when I thought I didn't have anything to show this week, I pulled out all of my Transformers the movie soundtrack album like records to show off those again, because I have nothing. And unlike Daryl, I'm not going to show the same thing every week in a different form. I'm just showing something I might have shown a couple of years ago. So the first, was released in 2015, it looks like. And this was a record store day exclusive. And I like it. It has the Optimus Prime kind of, just the line of Optimus Prime in there over the logo. But then on the inside, it has some really crazy looking art. Rodimus or Hot Rod, I don't know what's going on with him, but everyone else. And then you open it up and you get the Decepticons. It's so big, but it's cool. Yeah. It's in two records. It's got the whole soundtrack is split among the four sides of the two records, but it's a red and a purple. And it's not kind of coming through here. You can see the Autobot logo is kind of engraved here. The Decepticon logo is on the purple one. That's the first one I got. And the second one, can't have it without having Respect the Prime from our pal Jimmers, which has our old logo on the back. So this was awesome. And then Jimmers he's amazing, and he sent us some of the test printings. So I have that framed, never to be played. But this is test printing of that album, which is awesome. And then I forgot I had some behind me. And then rounding out my 86 movie soundtracks, I have the Cybertronic Spree Transformers 1986 album, which is great. This one, pretty cool design too, I think. Yeah. So I got the blue and white, and it's got their logo on it. I think it's really cool. Unfortunately, I don't have any speakers hooked up to my record player, so I don't think I've actually listened to this one on the record. I have the digital version. And then the last record I'm showing is the G1 series score that they put out a while back. And this is that art that looks good from far away, but when you get up close, it doesn't look as good. But the interior art looks great. So this has got about 40 tracks, I think. Let's see. Yeah, about 40 tracks among the two sides of this one album. It's basically just the music from the show. So it's pretty cool. And one day I'm going to get good speakers plugged into my record player and I can listen to them all. But that is all I got this. Cool. Charles, what'd you bring home from your trip?
Well, I didn't. These are not. Well, let me just start off here. Of course, comic War's End number 4. We're going to review this in alt mode this week. This is the Jack Lawrence cover. So same one that Daryl got. And yeah, I do like this image here. It's really cool. So I did pick up a new toy this week. Not in Germany, just happened to be in Target before I left for Germany. Got some tunes. Did it.
I don't have that on the soundboard anymore.
So this is Legacy Blaster, not Kingdom Blaster, Legacy Blasters. This is my first Legacy figure. So got him, I transformed him, and he has this is the new packaging with the QR code. So I did look up the QR code on my phone.
Worked.
And it does work. And you get a little blaster and eject profile. They've got an animated GIF. He's firing blasters there.
GIF.
Oh, GIF. Sorry. No, I do say GIF. I don't say GIF. I say GIF.
I would have done that however you said it. I was going to do the opposite. That's great until they forget about it and then they're no longer updated.
Yeah, and then the website is dead and the links don't work anymore. But I mean, it has all the tech specs from, you remember from a kid. It's his alt mode, radio function, communications. I guess it's too blurry here. You can't see it, but Origin Universe G1. So that's interesting. Signature weapon electro scrambler gun disrupts radio frequencies to disable electrical devices. Blaster loves loud rock and roll. When the music is rocking, he is rolling. Deploys a team of Autobot mini cassettes. Strength 8, intelligence 8, speed 2, and firepower 7. So there are his stats.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, blasters, and this seems a bit smaller than the blaster I remember as a kid, but maybe it's just because I got bigger. I don't know.
No, it is smaller.
But it's nice. The back it doesn't look great, but there is weapon storage for his guns. You can put his gun there in the back.
Big plus.
And it comes off.
The G1 one.
And then the cassette door opens out and there's eject. So yeah, it's a cool figure. I don't know. It's I think I'm gonna keep him in robot mode because I did want to show the tape deck mode just to show it off, but it is a little squat here for tape deck mode.
Well, next week you can show us the robot mode.
I don't know anybody that would do that.
Things. I might have other things to show off next week.
Ooh.
Keep your pants on.
But so I'm all the tape is. I like the translucent on eject the tape, but he needs some Toyhax loves. Needs some stickers on the tape. It's a little bit plain. Yeah, Legacy Blaster. That's what I got. So I think that'll do it for this week's Trips to the Store.
We now return to the Transmissions Podcast.
We're back from our trips to the store, and we are wrapping up this episode of Transmissions. As always, we end the show by giving a shout out to our Masterpiece Donatrions. These are the folks who continue to support the podcast at our highest level on Patreon, and we really appreciate their support, which is why we give them a shout out in every episode. So thank you once again to John 4X Levengood and Demon Tech 82. Also, we want to thank Apollo for coming back and joining us this week. Thanks for coming back. And why don't you tell everyone where they can find your stuff online?
Yeah, thank you for letting me come back. I needed the break with everything going on, but it's good to be back. You can find me on social media on Twitter and Instagram at RoboApollo. I am a fan artist. I haven't posted anything new recently, but I'm working my way back into getting into art. But I also like discussing Transformers with other fans. I'm also in the Discord server for Transmit as well, so you'll see me posting or commenting on posts in there as well. There's also an informal Wednesday night like hangout session with folks who are part of the Transmissions podcast Discord server, and it's usually Wolfwood and DJ Ronan are usually always there. So I try to join as well, and anyone's invited to go to that, and that's Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I don't know what that converts to in other time zones.
Cool. Yeah, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. So on the Transmissions Discord. And you can get to our Discord by going to transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Very easy to find it. All right, everyone. That's it for this episode of Transmissions. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.